With our user interface complete, it's now time to create outlets and actions for each of the user interface elements that the user will interact with. Let's first create the outlets. We'll create the outlets in the class extension portion of the viewcontroller.m file, which is here at the right of the Assistant Editor view. We'll right-click and drag from the BPM label, the BPM slider, the subdivision control, and finally the on-off switch. With the outlets created, we'll now create the actions. For the actions, we'll right-click and drag from the BPM slider, the subdivision control, and the on-off switch. I don't need the storyboard anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and switch views, but still work within viewcontroller.m. Now before moving on, I need to hook up the interaction between the BPM slider and the BPM label. So I'll head to the function onBPMSliderChange. I'll create a variable called slider, which will be the sender cast as a UI slider. And then I'll get the value of that slider and store it in an NSU integer called val. Finally, I'll create a string that will be used to set the text property of the BPM label. I'll create the string by using the stringWithFormat method of the NSString class, and I'll use the placeholder %lu for the val variable, which is an unsigned long. Now I'll test it in the simulator. As I drag the slider left and right, the change in BPM is reflected in the label. The rest of the functionality involves interacting with the pure data metronome that we created earlier. In the next movie, we'll look at creating a special class to act as a controller for the pure data patch.